Hi, I'm Anna Moss from Mind the Test Tutoring, and I'm here to tell you 5 things parents can do to help their children thrive and excel in school. And I'm going to be coming at this from the angle of brain-based learning. What can you do to help your kids really learn the stuff that they're learning in school and take ownership of that learning? Number one, the number one thing to do is use flashcards to quiz your kids. Many students have never learned how to effectively study. So if they say, I studied for my quiz, I don't know why I failed, they may be telling the truth. Study techniques are often not taught in school. Rereading notes and books has been found to be an extremely ineffective study method by numerous research studies. It feels effective to reread our notes and to reread the textbook, and many students love to do it because they feel like they're learning. However, rereading tricks our brains into feeling familiar with the text, but when it comes to test time, students struggle to recall what felt so familiar before when they were studying. So rereading notes, as much as students like to do it and they feel like they're learning, it doesn't really work very well. Flashcards, on the other hand, are a great tool because they force students' brains to work hard to retrieve the information. The harder their brains work while studying, the easier the test will feel. Number two is quiz your kids each week, not just the day before the test. Get those flashcards out and review every weekend to go over what your kids have learned so far. You could talk about what they did that week, but you could also talk about the things they did the week before and before that. So there's this constant repetition so they never forget. It might seem like overkill, but waiting until the day before the test, or even waiting until 1 week before the test, leads to both lower test scores and lower long-term retention. That means studying the day before or even studying the week before leads to lower scores and lower real learning. And that's what we all want. Studies have shown that it's much more effective to study for a few minutes a day, ongoing every day, rather than cramming the day before the test. Number three, gamify. Make review into a game. Studying every week, even for a few minutes every day, is not most kids' idea of a fun time. However, there are dozens of free ways to turn notes and facts into a game that kids actually enjoy playing. Flashcards can become a quiz game if kids compete against classmates or family members. My students also love the fun virtual flashcard games on Quizlet.com and Memrise.com. I also recommend Quizzes.com and Kahoot.com for more free learning games that students can play individually or competitively with classmates. You can search online for pre-made games, or you can make up your own. Number four is interleave. Mix up different problems. Interleaving is the act of mixing up different problem types in an unpredictable way, and it has been shown to lead to extremely strong long-term learning. Unfortunately, this is the opposite of the way most concepts are taught in school. At the end of a textbook chapter about, say, multiplying fractions, there may be 20 problems that require students to multiply fractions. This type of repetition does lead to short-term improvement. You get pretty good at multiplying fractions when you do it 20 times in a row. And it can be confidence boosting as well. But unfortunately, most students forget what they learned almost immediately when they drill the same thing over and over and over and over. Because they applied the rules almost robotically without thinking. Our brains do this when we repeat the same thing over and over. It doesn't lead to long-term learning. So when you quiz your kids, mix it up and interleave so they don't know what to expect. Ask one question about multiplying fractions, then 2 questions about subtracting decimals, then 1 question about another math topic, etc. If you're using flashcards for your questions, simply shuffle the deck. And number five, build quiz games using missed questions. One of the most important strategies for learning is to learn from mistakes. In fact, research has shown that trying a challenging problem and making mistakes leads to better learning than simply learning how to solve it and then getting it right the first time. However, students often feel defeated by wrong answers. So turn wrong answers on homework assignments and tests into quiz game questions so your child can try again. Not only will they learn a lot from their errors, they may also gain confidence.